I'm Tyson,
I'm Emma.
I'm Kim.
and we
We
are
are
Tech
Tech
Talk.
Talk.
Welcome back to our history hangout. I hope you enjoyed your layover because today we're still on the Neolithic era. So grab your passports because today we are going to 10,000 to 2000 BCE, the
The
Neolithic
Neolithic
era.
era. My name is Emma, just as I've said before, and today we need to start off with our shared significant artifact. Kim, what is one that you have in mind?
I have in mind Stonehenge. So, Tyson, what can you tell us about that?
So Stonehenge is located in England, and it was created around like 3000 to 2000 BCE. And the large rocks or structures you could call them they stand around like 13 feet tall, and it took about 1500 years to make that little circle of rocks. Think about it. They used many like wood building techniques, which is kind of cool. Like to shape like the rocks and stuff. They use like post and lintel techniques also to construct like the towers and stuff. And they're organized in like a circular shape. Um, and also they like create a sundial, which is very interesting um, to commemorate the longest and shortest day of the year. So Emma, do you think Stonehenge was part of a bigger picture?
Yeah, I feel like overall, like it wasn't just like an ancient artifact, it's more of like a bigger picture. It kind of shows the intelligence of the people within this time. There's evidence of worship. I'm pretty sure, there's evidence of sacrifice too. I think there's about 50 remains or something. Might be more than that, I'm not sure. 50, though, found within Stonehenge, and also with the sundial. It's lined up with the winter and summer solstice. So, yeah, I think that it just kind of shows their intelligence, which is pretty cool.
Well done. Well,
Okay, so going on from like the importance, Tyson, what did you think about this whenever you first saw it? Like, how did you feel?
what I thought it was really impressive to see like such a large sculpture, but it was more impressive to see like the use of like collaboration of like a lot of people to like construct something so large. Like that just shows like the use of like collaboration and how people work together to like make a structure. I think it was pretty impressive. Emma, what do you think?
I completely agree. I think that it kind of, just like within our Paleolithic era, I think it shows how advanced the people were within these days. I mean, creating a sundial out of the gap of the stones and it completing like going to the summer and winter solstice. I mean, that's like, it's hard to like think of those things, but and you would think that they didn't know that at that time, but they did, and I think that's really cool. And also with like the post and lintel structures as well, like the grooves and setting the stones, like, and how it allows us to like, it kind of lets us see how the builders were thinking throughout that time while they were doing their construction. um Kim?
I think, thinking about like the time it took them to stack the stones on top of each other was very unfathomable.
Every time he used the bathroom, his hemoglobin came out. Anytime he coughed, he hemoglobined.
Because that took a lot of like effort, team effort, and it really shows how innovative they were and how much patience they had trying to build everything. Because I can barely do one push up, guys, and if they can do that,
She came carry Emma. Yeah, we know.
I can do a push-up. You want to see it?
let's see. Get the camera. I want to continue my reflection more after this. One, two, two, two. I also, fix that. Move it this way. That's good. Yeah. I also thought it was pretty creative. They used it for like a sundial for the solstice. Is what it's called? Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Very innovative. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So Emma, what's your personal artifact for this episode?
For this Neolithic episode, I have chosen Jericho because I think overall it was just a really important place within this time. So, ancient Jericho is one of the oldest towns that we have record or have had anything produced from. So, the settlement is believed to have been created in 7500 BC. Somebody check over here on the notes to reference. Is that right? Okay. But even though it was created in 7500 BCE, it's believed to have been the first excavation by Charles Warren was in 1868. Yes. And so these times, like that time period, dates back to biblical times. So I think that's pretty cool. You see some connection between religion
And history.
and history. Yeah, that's really cool. It's located within the Jordan Valley of the West Bank, and and it was inhabited and grew into an organized community. So we think about the people within this time; they were living in close proximity to each other, and we see how they create a stone wall. It's about 2 meters wide, I think. Yeah, and it surrounds the town. Okay, kids, kids.
Okay, lock it.
I'm gonna bust you inside your head.
What? There's a camera on you, baby.
There's a camera on me right there.
Back behind you.
Oh, hello, praise the Lord.
Okay, which the stone wall represents kind of like I feel like their defense mechanism. You guys know what I mean? And yeah, that's pretty cool. For like, that's pretty much the description of it. But overall, it wasn't just the town. It wasn't just the first town. There's a lot of things that go along with it. So we start to see our first evidence of language, communication, and first of all, we see the agriculture as well. Y'all picking up what I'm putting out? Right. Okay, back at it. So agriculture. We see a lot of crops being grown within this. There's evidence of it, you know? And this also shows that we changed from being a hunting gathering people, but we're in, nomadic ways. We start going into full settlement. So like they were actually living we're actually living in like house-like features and buildings and structures, which is pretty cool. And it's also famous in biblical history because it's the story is that it was the first town attacked by the Israelites when they were under Josiah's ruling. Not Josiah, Joshua. Joshua. And yeah, and so we just kind of see the progression and advancements within our art, and we see this also because the art found within it is like increasing in size. Like, you know how we were in the Paleolithic era and it was like little tiny things because they had to travel, but now when you're sitting or living in a place, you can make your artwork bigger, which is a good thing.
The bigger the better.
Size doesn't matter, Tyson.
That's what she said.
But yeah, I just think personally, like when I first learned about it, I think it was really cool. This is one of them that really sparked my interest for the Neolithic era because it was like the first evidence of us settling. We weren't just living in caves anymore. We weren't building the Maziric house. We weren't doing things out of bones, but we were doing things where like, and they were using stone. Like they were using good resources, using what they knew was going to be best if they were under attack.
Yes.
How would you since it's like a walled off? You said there was like a 2 meter tall wall. Like how would you enter that?
So the wall surrounds the town for a defense mechanism, but for the actual buildings that people were living in and settling in, they had door-like things. Like they entered through the walls, which we see that is different in the other town that we see later on. Wink, wink, shove, shove.
Shove.
Shove, shove.
Okay, guys. Okay. Shaking the table. Okay, I have a question for you, Emma.
I can answer that for you.
Did like the same people always stay in this area, or
No. There's but within the time of people settling here, there were different groups of people who did settle there. I mean, there's people who I would say definitely left and settled somewhere else, maybe created other little towns. I'm not completely sure on that, can't quote me there. But I would say that there's definitely more people who settled there. And also, it was a growing population. I mean, I think that there was believed to have been 2,000 to 3,000 people who lived there, which within this time I feel like that's pretty big.
yeah, that's pretty.
So,
Period.
for the end, going.
We are back. We're back for the second half of this episode. And speaking of Emma's artifact, not really artifact, but her little
Jericho.
Yep, Jericho.
My little Jericho.
Her little Jericho. We have my personal artifact, which are the Jericho Skulls. Ooh. So the Jericho Skulls are actually human skulls, and they're covered in layers of plaster and were created in Jericho, Palestine around 8,000 and 6,000 BCE. The sculpts were obtained by already dug in graves, and they would go to their relatives' graves and just pick up their bones, their skulls and stuff. And they would in the Jericho skulls, they would adapt facial features by adding plaster to recreate noses, mouths, cheeks. And instead of recreating eyes with plaster, they used shells.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm great. I like your outfit.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything else that you might like?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Tyson, give me the important.
Okay. These were important because they were not just a decoration for the people of Jericho, but they also held cultural significance because they were used for rituals to honor their loved ones who passed. So yeah, so it's they would use them to honor their ancestors who passed away already, so that they could live freely in the afterlife. And I think that just that highlights the earliest representations of a portrait, and also highlights the early human desire to preserve identity.
Period. Per. So, Tyson, when you first saw these artifacts and discovered them, what did you think? How did you feel?
At first, when Mr. Reynolds was like, "Do you guys want to see something scary?" I was like, "Oh no!" And then he
no.
Yeah, he jump scared us with the freaking slide of the picture of the eyes of the skulls, and then we were all freaked out because what is that? But then once he started talking about
Continue.
but, yeah.
Can you breathe? Are you okay?
There's so much screaming.
Okay. When he started talking about, the meaning of them and the significance of them, you started to understand it more because, ancestry,
10 people died in the Bronx last night due to a fire that killed 10 people in the Bronx last night during a fire.
Fire officials say all 10 people died due to the fire, which was too hot for their bodies.
Ancestry is really important, and you obviously want to honor loved ones who passed away already. So the fact that they had a way to honor their loved ones was kind of cool.
I absolutely agree with you.
Great reflection. So, Tyson, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were they all decorated the same?
In the city of Jericho, most of them were relatively the same, but often the eyes had different decorations. Sometimes they weren't shells, sometimes they were sometimes stone and stuff. So usually they were decorated the same with the shells. That was the most common way to decorate them, but obviously not everyone has the same resources, so they were decorated a little differently.
Okay. And following up with Kim's question, Tyson, where were the Jericho skulls decorated at?
Sometimes they would be in their houses, but like I'm pretty sure most of the time for like the rituals, they would be buried under the house to like honor like the presence of the person.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Good to know. And then let's give you a little flashback Mary content.
Okay. Flashback Mary. Wait. Flashback Mary. Flashback Mary. Flashback Mary. Alrighty, guys. Moving on to the next artifact. Or not artifact, piece of art. Oh. Okay, so my artifact is the Catal Hoyuk. Hoyuk? Okay. It is one of the earliest known maps to be found on, and it was painted onto a wall, guys. Can you believe that? Dun, dun, dun! And it dates back to 7,500 BCE to 6,000 BCE. And the map was found in Ankara, Turkey in 1963. What? It was believed to represent a volcano in the background with many little houses in front of it, which is cool, interesting,
Yeah.
The mural consisted of very many
I like this.
If you guys keep interrupting me, we're about to have problems. As I was saying, Emma.
Silent. Silent.
Silent or silent?
As I was saying, there were very many.
Yeah. What were you saying?
What word are you trying to learn?
There were very many. Wait, what?
Yeah.
There were a lot of
You don't know the words you were trying to say.
There was a lot of geometric shapes being used in this little mural.
Why was this important to you?
It was important to me because it was one of the first signs of settlement. Because if you guys watched our last episode, or not a few other episodes, you know that they were nomadic. So now they're settled. Love that for them. And it also helps us understand the layout of how everything was back then and how they lived and where the houses were, stuff like that. It was also early signs of urbanization, advancements in that, which is nice. The map also gives us a glimpse of what surrounded them. So in this case, a volcano. Why would you live by a volcano? I don't know what they thought. Anyways.
Flashback.
So they lived next to a volcano that they didn't really know about. And I just feel like you shouldn't live next to something that you don't really know about. If I didn't know what something was, why would I build a city next to it? So that's when they first messed up.
End of flashback.
Kim, how did you feel when you first saw this too? I know that you were definitely probably surprised about the settlement stuff, but what else did you have to add on to that?
Let me read this real quick. Oh, okay.
Do you hear them? They're
yes. What are y'all plotting out there?
They're literally plotting.
Do you guys want to be special guests?
Do you guys want to be special guests? We haven't had special guests in a while.
Wait, come in the camera.
Say something.
Open the door.
Open the door.
I'm
open the door.
Open. Help! Help! Oh.
It was stuck. Sorry, I got a little scared.
What's going on? You can't even see anything.
Oh, shit. Special guests.
What do you want to say to our viewers?
Sam Fannin and John Meed.
I want to say that congratulations.
For?
Over what?
Oh. Where's the camera?
Right in for your face.
Oh my gosh.
Tyson for president.
Tyson for president.
Maybe some.
But that's the vibe. We're in the cave.
Can't see actually.
We're in the cave.
Okay. What did I have to say? Oh, yeah.
Shut it for real. Bro.
Oh my god, we're not gonna get out. Okay, back to our stop. I'm scared. What if we actually do this? I'm
scared. Kim, so other than just being surprised about the first signs of settlement, how did you feel about this when you first saw it?
I was expecting, when Miss Reynolds first brought it up, I was expecting more something complex, but it was very simple. If you look at the photos, they were very simple shapes, nothing too special about it. And when I first saw it too, the houses kind of looked like microwaves.
Oh.
It was pretty cool to see what their settlement looked like during that time and what they were surrounded by. Yeah.
So, how did you enter the houses?
So you wouldn't really enter it like a normal house, through the front door. You would enter from the side with like a ladder, going through the top and stuff like that. Parkour vibes.
Leading on to that, was that like a good what was the purpose of that? What do you think?
Excuse me. The purpose of that was to protect them from like other predators or whatever was trying to get them. So they were very safe being up there.
So,
I had to get you back. I had to get you back.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, which I actually know what I'm saying, other than said that.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, but throughout this episode, we talked about 3 major things. So we first talked about we talked about 4 major things.
They get it.
Okay, we talked about 4 major things: Stonehenge, Catal Hoyuk, Jericho, and the Jericho Skulls, which are 3 very important things throughout our history. So next week we'll be moving on to Egypt. And
Ooh. Yeah. Sorry. I know you guys are tired of hearing about Paleolithic and Neolithic, so we had to change it up for you guys.
That was awful. No.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But yeah, we'll be moving on. Maybe we'll be in a new location. You never know these days. It is very hot in this closet.
It feels like the walls are caving in.
Don't say that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
We'll
be
see
back
you next week. See you later.
Oh, it doesn't look that good, but it tastes good. It doesn't look good, but it tastes good. Shout out to my Aunt Amanda because it was her birthday yesterday.
Ooh, happy birthday, Aunt Amanda.
Yes.
Close the door.
Oh.
Okay, I know you thought the same stuff. You saw it as a burger, not a